This week on the Spotlight, we talk to the Bulls as they head out on their big road trip. Struggling. And the coach is not too happy either, Fred. We'll talk to him for a little bit. Then we go to trivia. 2015 Benkowski trivia title match from the SOC. And we flash back some golf and other things this week. Check out my website, benkowski.com, for my weekly article and up-to-the-minute trivia sites. It's the 27th year of the Lansing Floral Sports Spotlight. Flowers for every imaginable occasion at Lansing Floral Shop. Call them at 708-474-1212. They deliver. You've got to get to the Cove for Benkowski Trivia Wednesday, February 10th. I'll be there at 8 p.m. Great people, great game. Easy to reach, 1750 East 55th Street, right at the lake. See you at the Cove. You've got to get to the SOC, live Benkowski Trivia. Alternate Thursdays, 8 p.m., 93rd and Roberts Road. See you there. With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. You know Huck Finn is open. You've got to get to Dr. Sherman Clay, chiropractor. Gentle adjusting. Most insurance accepted. Massage therapy, too. Walk-ins are welcome. Call 773-324-4325. That's HEAL. Dr. Sherman Clay. Calabria Imports has Italian foods and a great deli. You mention this TV ad, and you get a free Joe tea with a sandwich order. Conveniently located at 1905 West 103rd Street, Calabria Imports has great stuff. Check it out. I do all the time. Since 1967, El Jardín has been serving the finest Mexican food. Before, after, or during ball games, located conveniently just 3 blocks south of Wrigley Field, 3335 North Clark. Whether there's a game or not, you still get hungry, and El Jardín has great service, great food, and great drinks. I've enjoyed every meal I've had there, and you will too. So get to El Jardín for great Mexican food at 3335 North Clark Street in Chicago. You'll be glad you did. 773-233-7044. They're doing a great job for me. They'll do a great job for you. Family Dentist, Lawrence Ferlin. Do you remember Lou Aldang? He logged a lot of games, a lot of minutes, scored a lot of points, did a lot of good things as a Chicago Bull. Was one of our favorites, actually, for several years. He's with the Miami Heat now, and they beat the Bulls on this night, and he played a role. But that's what happens when you don't keep a guy, and we're not going to get into that. Anyway, as you see this, the Bulls are off on the long trip. The early trip for 2016, and there's some rough stuff. Just after they had beaten Cleveland, you thought things were getting better. The ship was righted. But this loss to Miami, a blown fourth quarter scenario, was kind of painful. Derrick Rose nicked up, and the offense stagnant, and the defense not too good either. And Fred Hoiberg, appropriately, I guess, not liking it.
The hamstring soreness. Hamstring soreness is what he has. We'll reevaluate him in the morning.
What did you see? Looked like the offense really locked down in the fourth quarter. Anything particularly you saw?
You know, it did, and it was great early. It was great early because we were moving the ball. We had, I think, 12 assists with 9 minutes to go in the second quarter, and only had 6 the rest of the way. We just, I don't know if it's Derek's absence had something to do with it, missing some wide open shots. Obviously, had something to do with that. But then we, it just for whatever reason, the ball stopped. You know, the ball stopped, and we were ended up taking tough shots.
Obviously, without Derek, I mean, you also had Heinrich was out and Moore was out. You had to go Jimmy some as point guard. How that felt with that sort of.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we knew Derek had a little bit of soreness before the game, and unfortunately went down, and we were shorthanded going into this one at the point guard spot, so that didn't help. But you gotta find a way to fight through those times. We didn't do that. We did not do a good job. I thought we let a lot of little things bother us tonight, and it affected us out there on the floor.
Fred, you keep talking about obviously the chance to build on momentum, and obviously you're coming off a pretty emotional and impressive victory. What can you say at this point? I mean, when they keep failing to take advantage of momentum, what can you say?
Yeah, well, it's tough, KC. We again had stretches tonight where we played pretty well. We got a 9-point lead, and then like I said, they called a timeout. We talked about building on it, pushing that lead double figures. We never did. And they came down, and it was too easy for them. Wade was tough in isolation situations. We didn't stay in front of him. That opened up some shots for Bosch. But yeah, I mean it's tough, KC. Our mindset was good, I thought, this morning. And like I said, we had some very good stretches over the course early in that game, and then fourth quarter got tough on us, and we didn't handle it well.
It looks like there was some defensive miscommunication on that pick and pop with Bosch in the final minute, where both Jimmy and Powell went
that's
to
right.
the driver. What did you see, and what was
Miscommunication.
What was supposed to be the coverage?
It was a switch as he got past the free throw line.
Thanks.
Fred, with all the point guard injuries, would you consider bringing somebody else in if Derek or Kirk has to miss some more time?
Well, we will hopefully get him back soon. Again, it's too early to say. We'll reevaluate it and see how it looks tomorrow.
Continue Tony and Doug. They've had opportunities to make shots. Tony had a bunch of open shots when the ball was moving. It's not putting them down. What do you say to those guys? Do you even keep them out there at this point?
Well, it's I mean, it's tough. They both had some good looks that you'll take those shots. Both of them have shot a good percentage. Especially on open, uncontested shots. Unfortunately, they didn't go in today. Keep working, keep talking to them, try to pump them up with confidence. All you can do with a shooter.
Fred, you mentioned soreness, tightness, conditioning, pace, and you hope for his health, obviously. But how tough does it make your job when you don't know when your point guard's going to play?
Well, again, with Kirk, it's the thigh. He took a big hit, had a bruise there. Etuan, he's got a little tweak in his hamstring. Derek, he was great. He was great this morning. Something happened from the shoot around to game time where he caught a little bit of soreness, and unfortunately, when he went out there tonight, it got worse. So we had to sit him. But yeah, I mean, it is tough. But at the same time, you got to next man up. You got to come in there and perform. Thank you.
You've got to get to Lansing Floral Shop. Open at 8 a.m. daily. Besides a great array of live flowers, they have custom silks, Bridgewater candles. They want you to plan your parties early at a wide delivery area. They're located at 3420 Ridge Road in Lansing, or you can call 708-474-1212. Weddings, funerals, birthdays, anniversaries, and guys, try the No Reason flower. Believe me, it works. Lansing Floral Shop. Give them a call, 708-474-1212. Kim G. Sherman, psychotherapist, Des Plaines Wellness Center. Therapy for individuals, couples, families. Call 847-962-4849. I've known Kim for over 20 years. She is a true professional, and she will help you. Give her a call. Family Dentist, Lawrence Furland, EDS, 109th and Kedzie, crowns, veneers, cleanings, improving your smile. They do a great job. Call 773-233-7044. Excellent work, impeccable. Call the Family Dentist, 773-233-7044. They did a great job for me, and they'll do a great job for you. You've got to get to Del Sur Mexican restaurant, open for lunch and dinner daily, with a spectacular new menu at 46th and Halsted, and my trivia game. My next one, Friday, January 29th at 6 p.m. We'll have a mini game set up. Probably have another game around 7. But Del Sur Mexican Restaurant has spectacular food. Check it out yourself at 46th and Halsted. Though maybe not with the same flamboyance, my current go-to for the road trip guy is becoming Tony Snell. For years it was Horace Grant, who would not only talk about each individual team that they were going to play on the trip, but pick out his least favorite player from each and get some jabs in. I have a vivid memory of him talking about the Portland Trail Blazers and Gary Payton, who he called some names of. But anyway, Tony Snell, a little more positive. So I talked to him about a highlight of the road trip, and he was very quick to address that element. Sometimes timing's everything, and I remember the Bulls of the 90s, who were a pretty excellent team. Sometimes they'd have a little trouble at home. They'd go out on the road and get things fixed up. Maybe you can look at this road trip as a bonding and a fixing time.
Yeah, we got to bounce back from our home losses. We got to learn from our mistakes, continue to move forward, and just learn from our mistakes.
Tell me a little bit about how this game went. I mean, there were a lot of good parts, but that fourth quarter just got away.
Defensive stops, just trying to get back, transition, communicate, start to slip up on defensive end. And we missed a lot of wide open shots, myself included, missed a lot of open shots. But, we got to stay consistent defensively, and defensively we didn't do pretty good in the fourth quarter.
Sometimes a team falls in the trap of shooting the J. And I have always noticed that if you start taking the ball to the rack, make them pay on the defensive end, even if it's just going to the free throw line, that can open things up. You wish you'd done a little bit more of that?
I just wish we had more defensive stops. I'm more of a defensive guy. We made good stops defensively. Our offense is going to come. Anybody in this team can score. We just got to stay consistent defensively.
That's a good theory to stick with. Looking at the West Coast trip, any highlights for you?
I'm glad to go back home to L.A. That's where I'm from. Glad to go out there, visit my family. Good weather, of course, but very excited to play at the Lakers Sports Center, and ready to go out there at the Staples Center, ready to go out there and try to perform in front of my family and friends, and Kobe, of course. He's one of the legends I used to watch growing up in L.A. Everybody in my family watched him, so I'm very excited to go against him.
Yeah, final 2 times. It's got to be a kind of a historical, deep feeling.
Yeah, it's a surreal feeling. I still feel like I'm dreaming, but I'm very excited at the same time. Go out there and try to do our best to compete and hopefully get the win.
Can you talk about the trip as an entity? You got about 7 games. I mean, I guess the obvious thing is you want to come out with a winning record.
Yeah, it's always hard to compete at the away games. The environment is really loud, but we got to go out there and try to bring our own energy and just try to compete and do the best we can.
All right, we wish you luck.
Thank you.
Be safe. Thanks, Tony. Now let's get back to the sock at 93rd and Roberts for action from our Championship Trivia 2015. It's the Benkowski title match. Ladies, still shown on TV today. I tell you I'm a thief. You call me a liar. Romantic comedy. 5 seconds. Going. So sorry, I said 3 words. Yes, I did. We go to sock bar.
Can you repeat the question?
I tell you I'm a thief, you call me a liar. Going. Out of time. We go to Stooges.
Princess Bride.
Louder?
Princess Bride.
That's not it. We go to Shy Sharks. Five seconds. I just said 80s. Going. Interesting, but no. We go to JMB.
About last night.
About last night is right.
Yes!
So JMP, 360. And now Salt and Pepper. Oh, I got a movie for you. 1984. 2 words. Wax on, wax off. Karate Kid. Well, it was 30-some years ago.
Might as well give points out.
Salt and Pepper, 210. Night Out is up. Four presidents have last names that begin with C. Name 3. Carter, Calhoun, and Coolidge. That's 2 right. There is no President Calhoun. So Carter and Coolidge are good. We go to Jordan and Marks. Five seconds. Carter, Cleveland, Clinton is good. 100. So Jordan and Marks to 350, close to the lead. More trivia next week. With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. You know Huck Finn is open. Go play at Red Shoes Billiards, 12009 South Pulaski in Ulsan, featuring 16 Brunswick Gold Crown pool tables, drop fluorescent lighting fixtures, and a fabulous grade of cloth. Call 708-388-3700. And now video gaming is available at Red Shoes from open till close. And don't forget the Illinois Lottery too. That's Red Shoe Billiards, 12009 South Pulaski. You know you should get to the Dirty Sock on alternate Thursdays at 8 p.m. when I do my trivia game. They have great food, great drink, great people at 93rd and Roberts Road. It's a fun place. I've been going there for years. So start coming out on Thursday nights at least. I'll see you at 8 o'clock. We'll have fun. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie does tune-ups, transmission, AC service, engine repair, tire repair, oil changes, and emission system repair. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and they've done a great job for me. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie. You've got to get to Papa Joe's new location, 5900 West 111th Street. Italian beef, tetrazzini, great pizza, Parmesan, ravioli, and more. All my classic choices. New location, and they can still deliver into the city. Get to Papa Joe's. We're back in the spotlight, and a young man named Nick Price joins Fred Couples as the leading tournament winners of the 90s with 7 victories each. Jerry Cook has more from Cog Hill.
In the end, no one else even came close. The affable Nick Price led the 90th Western Open wire-to-wire and ran away from Greg Norman in Sunday's final round, beating the Shark by 5 shots. The closest Norman ever came to Price was when they teed off, Greg trailing by 2 shots in, but Price ran up birdies on 4 of the first 6 holes en route to a closing 67 and a 5-shot victory, finishing at 19 under par.
It's just nothing else enters your mind when you are about to play your shot. I mean, for the 10 seconds preceding the shot, once you get into your pre-shot routine, all I'm thinking about is my target. That's all I'm thinking about, and maybe a little bit of my golf swing, you know, keep the club low or whatever it might be, swing it smooth. But you know, the last 5 seconds before I pull the trigger, I'm so homed in on my target, and I'm so conscious of it. Even when I'm looking at the ball, you know, I can see the target in my mind's eye. I can see it out there where I'm trying to hit it, and you know, I've just got better and better at doing that. Because the better you do it, the more confidence you get, and it just seems easier to do. So but you still get nervous. I mean, it's one of those things that, the butterflies and the anxiety and everything, the only time they go away is when you make that last putt.
Price's victory in the Western made him a back-to-back winner. He won at Hartford the previous week, and his Cog Hill victory was worth $216,000. That boosted his yearly earnings to more than $1 million, first on the money list. As for Norman, this was his third straight second-place finish at the Western, and he said Price was just too good.
There's a lot to keep it up there. I mean, it's if we just got left to our own druthers, and just do it ourselves, we could do it. You could do it, but there's a lot of outside extraneous pressures that come in. People write things about you or want you to stay there or ask them, why haven't you won every week? Things like that keep mounting up week in, week out. It's a strong-willed character who can maintain that level week after week, year after year. And Nicky's obviously doing that for 12 months now, so he deservedly gets his position in the top player in the world. Here it was pretty close to domination. I mean, the first 63 holes, the first 8-9 holes this morning, that's where he just shut the door on us, really. How difficult it is, in this day and age, it's very difficult because there's so many good players out there who can shoot that low score on a Sunday or whatever. I think Nicky's today probably helped him with the wind blowing. You knew nobody was going to come out and shoot a 64 or 63.
Reporting for the Benkowski Sports Spotlight, Jerry Cook at Cog Hill in Lamont.
In Lake Forest, and it's never too early to talk Bears football. And for a brief bit of analyzing of the upcoming offense, we're talking with Troy Auzenne. And tell us a little bit about some of your early meetings with the new regime and the new staff. What are they telling you? What kind of things are they showing you that excites you about 1993?
Well, I think they're very energetic about the season coming up. They're always wired about football, very enthusiastic, getting people going, and I'm looking forward to the season.
There's been so much talk lately about the aging of the Bears generally, and specifically the offensive line. What are they telling you about what kind of action you're going to see, how you'll be rotated in with a couple of guys in the 35-year-old range on the offensive line?
Well, they haven't really gotten into that yet. As for the age of the players, I have Mark Bortz next to me. I see him kicking ass every day, so I don't think being 52 or however old he is, I don't think that's really a factor in the game right now.
Well, that's an interesting point. Steve McMichael certainly would bear that out defensively, but the exception to the rule is the older player. Being a comparatively young guy, what are you looking for? What would be a goal for playing time? How much action would you like to see?
I'd like to play the whole game, pretty much like I did last year. But, you never want to get taken out of a game. You don't really want to share reps. You want to get as much playing time as you can because as an offensive lineman, you don't really have stats. So playing time is pretty much your only thing.
In the scheme of the new Bears offense, there's more talk about it, maybe an accent on a power running game, they're saying. With a guy like Hayward, certainly it looks like he's going to give a little bit of help in some of the blocking schemes. What's your gut feeling about the way that's going to work?
I think it's going to work out well. Hayward, he's a hell of a guy and a hell of a football player, and I think he's just another part of the attack that we can show other teams now. So, we're looking forward to getting into camp and getting this thing going.
You've got to get to Jack's, 3325 Ridge Road in Lansing. Trivia every Tuesday at 7 p.m. A very intense competitive game. Any of half a dozen teams can win. We go to Oliver's, 6100 West 159th Street for live trivia. Thursday, February 4th, the next one, at 7 p.m. That's a fun, rambling crowd. Eat, drink, and have fun at Oliver's. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie is great. Tune-ups, transmissions, AC service, engine repair, tire repair, oil changes. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. They do a great job for me, and they'll do a great job for you. They're quick, and they don't charge an arm and a leg. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair, 108th and Kedzie. Trivia will be at the Sock. Alternate Thursdays at 8 p.m. 93rd and Roberts Road. Great food, great drink, great people, everything great. Don't forget Del Sur Mexican Restaurant. Open for lunch and dinner daily, spectacular new menu, and my trivia game Friday, January 29th at 6 p.m. Easy to reach at 46th and Halsted. Come on down, check it out. You'll be glad you did. Reggie's is a great place with tons of music, interesting people and staff, great food and drink at 21st and State. And amongst the cool things they have, Benkowski Trivia. All shows are now Monday at 6 p.m. Reggie's, 21st and State, a fun place. And this week we're in the visitors' side at the United Center. Scott Williams comes in as the enemy. Three-time Bulls champion, now a Phoenix Suns member, talks about the Western Conference playoffs.
We'll have to, keep an eye on them over our shoulders as well.
Well, you talk about your team kind of surprising people. Get into a little detail about you and your role on this club, and where you see it taking you this year and the following year.
Well, it's kind of been a role I've kind of adjusted into quite well. I'm kind of an older guy, help some of the younger big guys that we have on the team. Alton Ford, Maury Stoudemire, Jake Voskuhl, who you guys know from Chicago days, and Jake Sokolidis, kind of a older player that knows a little bit about the personnel in the league and knows a little bit about some of the tricks you can get away with down there playing in the paint. And I was fortunate when I was here in Chicago to play with some really good veteran leaders in John Paxson and, of course, Bill Cartwright, who we called the Teach back then, because he taught me and Stacy and Will Perdue what it took to play in this league for a long time. And I'm trying to pass on what I learned from those guys onto my younger players.
And in a sense, when you play against the Bulls, you tell him what he's probably telling his players, and then it almost becomes like X's and O's against each other.
It certainly is. They have some talented young players over there, and I think that for big players, there's no better player to have teach you than Bill Cartwright. He's probably not the most athletic of centers during his playing days, but certainly no one more knowledgeable about playing the position than Coach Cartwright.
What advice would you give to a young team that's, I don't know, in a sense maybe looks like they hit the wall, they have a lot of trouble in road games, they are going to be short of 30 wins most likely, and kind of playing out the string?
Well, obviously these games right now, I think 50-65, when you're playing on a team that's probably not going to be in the playoff picture like the Bulls are this year, very, very difficult, especially for a young team without a whole lot of veterans to kind of steady the course from time to time. The coaching staff that they have is a great coaching staff, but it does take some players there. So my advice to them is to not go out there and look at that last game of the season and circle that like we're done, but to go out there and play like you're improving for the start of your season next year, because that's really what you're doing. You're building camaraderie. You're learning how to play together with one another for the future.
You sound more like a coach every time we talk. Now, I don't know what your plans are for next year, but let's talk about next year, and then after that, would you ever consider coaching ranks?
Well, I've been fortunate enough. I've played with some great players in Michael and Scotty. I've played with under some great coaches in Dean Smith, Larry Brown, and Phil Jackson. So I've kind of gotten a great basketball education from both sides, the coaching and playing, and it's been.
Lansing Floral, 708-474-1212. Huck Finn, a great wide-ranging menu, along with donuts and ice cream. Open 24 hours at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Imprint Graphics, leaders in booklet, perfect bound saddle stitch, very competitive pricing. Call 708-396-1010.